Happy New Year's Eve to everyone, or Happy Survivor Eve to Nigerians. This is the last day of 2025, and in a few hours from now, our politicians will be out on national television, promising us heaven and earth once again, reading political statements well written, explaining things they never did, saying things they never achieved, and making it worse by promising us another heaven and earth. Right here on Raging Hot Mic Podcast, we do not chase shadows. We will not be deceived. What we do is hold them accountable. What we do is to force them to be as transparent as ever. Today, I'm not talking about 2026. I'm talking about 2024, not even 2025. Why am I talking about 2024? I'm talking about 2024 because promises made as regards 2024 haven't even been fulfilled. So I'm not even talking about 2025. I'm going back 2 years as regards counting from 2025. Welcome to the Raging Hot Mic Podcast. Good morning and good evening, depending on where you're watching me from. If you enjoyed this podcast, smash that like button, subscribe, follow us, and drop your comments. The minimum wage was signed into law back in April 2025, but legally backdated to April 2024. Now, for 21 months, counting from April 2024 till December right now, the government, both federal and states, have held on to the difference between the old 30,000 Naira minimum wage and the 70,000 Naira new minimum wage for millions of workers. Why was this necessary? Now, the Nigerian Labour Congress and other workers, unionized workers, went on strike in July. It lasted, and it was agreed with the government that they should go back to work, and then that the new minimum wage of 70,000 Naira will be paid henceforth to them. It wasn't just that it was going to be paid, there was a promise. I won't even say promise. It's not a promise. It is an obligation. Because if you are dealing with your landlord or dealing with a bank and they give you a loan, you don't promise them you are paying them back, because some promises can be broken. You have obligated to pay them back because it's written, it's formal. You can't go against it. So the agreement with the government is an obligation. It's not a promise. Political promises could be promised, because if you don't fulfill those promises, you can be kicked out of government. The people might decide not to vote you again. So that, as regards that, is a promise. But the union, as regards the 70,000 Naira minimum wage, is an obligation on the part of the government, because the NLC can provide a written document where it was signed. So 5 months from when this obligation was signed, millions or most of the workers, or 90% of the workers, are yet to get their money. Now you are dealing with a government or a system of governance that is used to promises, consistently over-promising and not delivering, and they are never held accountable. It is a norm. It is a norm that even on national television, where you call these politicians and you are bringing their notice to what they said they were going to do, they don't see it as a failure of their government. They get angry and they call you names. They say you can't say good thing about their government. They call you traitor. They call you all sorts of names. They attack the personality. But you all know at Raging Hot Mic, we don't give a damn. We don't care. We hold these politicians accountable. We hold their feet to the fire. They must remedy those promises. Now, for the Nigerian worker, we stand by you. We know your sacrifices. You know what you are doing to put food on the table for your family. Now, the first point is from 2024, when this payment was supposed to be made, till now, 40,000 Naira back then could buy you a bag of rice as of July 2024. But right now, on 31st December, in most parts of the country, that same 40,000 Naira is only going to buy you 3 paints of rice. 3 paint buckets of rice. 3 paint buckets. So what has happened to the money? It is the same money. But in 21 months, that money has lost 40% value. That means the Nigerian worker has been robbed. Inflation. I'm still going to cover the topic as regards how they're playing with the numbers. They change how they calculate the inflation to make it look like the economy is recovering. The economy, the debasing and debasing. That is what this government has done. So that the numbers won't look so bad. You're talking about close to 35-37% inflation. The highest the US had seen in a long while was 9%, and that was back in 2024. Mainly because of the COVID supply chain problems. Right now it's at, I think, 2.7%, and it's still high. It doesn't mean the US economy, inflation has stopped. It means it's not rising as fast. So when you see the US complain about inflation, about people losing their jobs, about cost of necessary essential commodities rising at 2.7%, the Nigerian economy is at 30-something%. You know what it means? More than 13 times. So the government have decided to rebase it. So you see a worker that have dedicated all their lives to work for their income and to work for the government. Now, whenever this money is paid, I'm not even sure when it's going to be paid. You and I are not sure. You know how the system works. So whenever this money is paid, they've lost 40% as of 31st December. In April, it could be 50%. So of what use is the money? Are they going to be paid interest on this money owed? No. They're only asking for their money. You see a system where the inflation is rising so high and you're still owing these workers. What sort of leaders do we have? The number 2 point is that we just passed a budget of 58 trillion. We are spending trillions on renovating offices for politicians. I'm still going to go into the details in the budgeting. How much was allocated for each sector? We're spending trillions for presidential yachts and jets. The president is telling us we have to be patient. It is like he always uses a woman who just gave birth. When she gives birth, the pain. But a woman giving birth can't be pushing and giving birth, and the husband is clubbing, smoking, drinking, and partying. And he's telling his wife, don't worry, when you give birth, we'll be all right. But he's at the club. Because the president is at the club. His behavior is like that of someone who is not sympathetic or who is not empathetic with the wife who's in labor. You all know in Western world, when your wife is in labor, you're in the labor room with her. I don't know how it's operated in Nigeria. I don't know the system. You have to be in the labor room. You're going to watch them deliver the baby. At that time, you can't even you can't even answer them. You're thinking about the life of your wife. Nigerian workers are suffering. The president is not thinking about it, because if he's thinking about it, he can't be buying yachts and jets. But he's telling them to be calm. They should suffer. The son, Sheyi Tinubu, has over how many soldiers attached to him? We're talking about big trillions for presidential projects. But he's not experiencing that. But he's telling Nigerians to endure. The buck stops on his decks. He should show by example. He's not leading by example. He's not. Talking about austerity measures. But the austerity is only on the workers. It's not even austerity. It's punishment. You have selective payment where some staff of the FCT have been paid. You talk of essential workers. You know what that word means? Essential. The society cannot function without them. They must do their job. They must work. That is why even in the US, even during strike, even when it's called shutdown, even during shutdown, have some people who will never stop going to work. The police officers, they don't go on strike, they don't go on shutdown. The military people, the defense department people, not the office people. The military, the Marines, the National Guard, the nurses, they don't go shutdown. They have to work. They are essential. The doctors, the fire guys. In Nigeria, include the teachers. We will not be anything we are without our teachers. You all know how our teachers are discriminated. I won't really use the word how they are not valued. No, they are discriminated. I'll use the word discriminate. I'm going to the extreme. Look at the salaries the teachers earn. And these are the people who shape the leaders of tomorrow. If you want to look at any society, the future of any society, look at their teachers. Look at how they value their teachers. Teachers are treated like they don't exist. How much is their salary? Look at the classrooms. Do they have facilities? Do they have apparatus to carry out their job? No. Nothing. But we want them to train leaders of tomorrow when psychologically and mentally they are not even themselves okay. These guys have been left out in this payment, but you have some staff of the Ministry of FCT being paid. Those close to the maybe politicians. This is dumb. It's unacceptable. Workers are being denied their 2024 arrears. They worked for it. It's an obligation. It's not a promise. It's not a favor. It's not a privilege. It's a right. It's an obligation. They worked for this money. You know what? I don't joke with people who work for their money. Even in the Bible, it says a laborer deserves his wages. You have to pay. You shouldn't have given him the job at the first place. If you give him the job, you have to pay up. He doesn't have to sing your praises. Doesn't have to say thank you to the governor. No, it's not thanking him. That's your job. You are dealing with people. You are dealing with taxes. You don't thank people when you take their taxes from them. You widen the tax base and you get those taxes. You are elected. It's not a private company. You are working with people's funds. So don't feel they didn't thank you. Don't feel that you are doing them a favor by paying them. No, you are not. You're looking at a budget of 58 trillion. Out of this 58 trillion, 17 trillion is borrowed. We can't even come up with the whole sum for the budget. We borrowed 17 trillion from who knows who. Now we are going to have a deficit of 23 trillion. So what does it mean? It means that how much we are expected to make this year and how much we're expected to spend is not adding up. So if it's 58 trillion is the budget, that means the money we are going to make is like 17. The rest 23 is going to be deficit. We're not even dealing with surplus. And yet, we don't have money to pay teachers. Don't have money to pay workers. Then why was the agreement made? Why was the agreement signed at the first place? This is awful. This is a disgrace. If you are watching this and you're a Nigerian worker and you are yet to receive your pay, comment your profession and your state in the comment section. Our voices must be heard. Let's trend. You deserve your wages. They're not helping you. They're not helping. They're not doing you a favor. That is your obligation. If I sign a document with you, I have to pay you. Drop that comment and let's trend. This is 2020. I'm talking about 2024. I'm not even talking about 2025. But watch out, in a few hours from now, the politicians are going to make you so much promises. You'll be thinking whether they are angels. Our voice must be heard. We must hold our politicians accountable. Thank you. Join me next time. Have a good year ahead. Smashing year, positive year, spirit-filled year. Thanks for joining us. Remain richly blessed.